my name is Mark Robles, MIS student of UP Open University. Today, I am going to talk about ethical issues on privacy and national security. This year marks the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on the United States. September 11, 2001 was the most horrific terrorist attack on U.S. soil by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda. The attacks killed 2,996 people and injured over 6,000 others and caused at least $10 billion in property and infrastructure damages and $3 trillion in total cost. This incident brought change to America in terms of security and information privacy. As a result of the attacks, the United States created the Department of Homeland Security through the Homeland Security Act to coordinate domestic anti-terrorist efforts. President George W. Bush signed the Patriotic Act, which was extended in 2011 by President Barack Obama. This act gave the federal government greater powers, including the authority to detain foreign terrorist suspects for a week without charge, to monitor telephone communications, email, and internet use by terrorist suspects, and to prosecute suspected terrorists without time restrictions. Further, the federal government expanded the ability of the National Security Agency or NSA to collect data on U.S. citizens, foreign nationals, and governments. The extent of that expansion did not become publicly known, however, until 2013 when whistleblower Edward Snowden revealed the extensive scope of the NSA's domestic spying. Cell phones, emails, and corporate data were subject to NSA surveillance without a warrant. The question that I would like to bring up with you is this: is it right for the government to have access to our personal and confidential information for the sake of national security? To answer this question, I would like to state some of the philosophical theories. The first one is relativism. Relativism is the philosophical position that all points of view are equally valid, and that all truth is relative to the individual. This means that all moral positions, all religious systems, and all art forms, all political movements, etc., are truths that are relative to the individual. If you witness firsthand the horrendous attacks during 9/11, you might agree that it is morally right for the state to spy on us and have access to our personal information to stop any possible terrorist attack. Moreover, when one of your loved ones was a victim of this attack, most likely you would agree to and let the government do whatever they can to protect us. For situational relativism, ethics are dependent upon the situation. If there is an imminent threat of a terrorist attack, then it is ethically right for the state to do whatever it takes to protect its citizen. For an egoist, the salient moral question is, how do I best benefit myself? And the answer to Plato's question, what is the good, is simply, the good is whatever is pleasing to me. Psychological egoism claims that each person has but one ultimate aim, his own welfare. Meaning, one's own welfare is the most important above all. If the state will spy on individual and have access to one's personal information and put oneself in danger, then this is not morally right, even if the life of many people are at stake. Psychological altruism. Psychological altruism means acting out of concern for the well-being of others without regard to your own self-interest. The altruist argues that the morally correct action always best serves the interests of others. It won't matter if the state has access to our personal information as long as the well-being of others is protected. Immanuel Kant states that to do what is morally right is to do one's duty. Understanding what one's duty requires is the difficult part. Kant explains that the only thing in the world that is wholly good, without qualification, is goodwill. The state gaining access to our private information is morally right because the state is just doing its duty to serve and protect the people of the land. Utilitarianism is an ethical philosophy in which the happiness of the greatest number of people in the society is considered the greatest good. Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill states that an action is right if it tends to promote happiness and wrong if it tends to produce the reverse of happiness. Not just the happiness of the performer of the action, but also that of everyone affected by it. If the government act of spying on people and accessing their personal information will result to the safety of everyone and will promote happiness, then it is ethically right. Whistleblower Edward Snowden said, "Privacy is the right to a free mind. Without privacy, you can't have anything for yourself." He continues saying that arguing that you don't care about privacy because you have nothing to hide is like saying you don't care about the free speech because you have nothing to say. Snowden compared the right to privacy to the right of the freedom of speech, but freedom of speech is not absolute. The Supreme Court of the United States has recognized several categories of speech that are excluded from the freedom, and it has recognized that government may enact reasonable time, place, or manner restrictions on speech. The same goes with our right to privacy. It is not absolute. The government, on a case-by-case basis, provided with a court order and within the law, can have access to our private information. What is my stand on this issue? On December 2, 2015, 14 people were killed and 22 were seriously injured in a terrorist attack in San Bernardino, California. The police killed the two perpetrators and they recovered an iPhone from one of the suspects. A federal judge ordered the Apple to assist the FBI in hacking into the iPhone, but Apple CEO Tim Cook took a firm stance against the federal judge's request. Apple said in an open letter to its customers in late February, "It would be wrong to intentionally weaken our products with a government-ordered backdoor. If we lose control of our data, we put our privacy and our safety at risk." What if the shooter's cell phone contained important information that would identify other terrorists involved and stop another possible attack? I believe that the government has the responsibility to protect the citizens, and there are certain things that are necessary to keep the citizens safe. The government should be able to gather information. I will support the government to make sure that we all live in a safe environment. It is my right to live and enjoy a life of peace and harmony. I know this is not the only way for the government to stop any terrorist attacks, but I am willing to give up some of my privacy if I could save millions of lives. My stand on this issue is based on psychological altruism. Psychological altruism means acting out of concern for the well-being of others without regard to your own self-interest. I believe the well-being of others is more important than my own self-interest. This philosophy also believes that the morally correct action always best serves the interests of others. Any intrusion on privacy for the sake of security would be minimal, and the most important rights would still be respected. Moreover, the government should have a strict and defined policy on how to access and use the information gathered. The government should not use any information in any ways unless it is for national security and for the sole purpose of protecting the lives of the citizens. To end this speech, I would like to leave you with this question. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we care about other people more and worry about ourselves less? Thank you.